I got this sort of different idea for a video, or maybe even for a series. It's called Unity Coding Adventures, or something like that. And I would try to build some sort of different game mechanics in the Unity, and maybe somewhere down the line, far away in the future, I'd probably use those game mechanics to create a game. This is not a tutorial, I don't claim to be a professional. It's been literally forever since I last tried to write a script in Unity. So the way I approach problems and how I might build some, say, FPS controls could look horrible and very unprofessional, but that being said, I try to show everything that I write down. If you want to use that as an inspiration or just use my ideas as is, you're welcome. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna teach you per se, so keep that in mind. I think this idea is coming from the place where I think I want to build something in Unity and maybe build something useful, and hopefully someone else could find these mechanics useful as well. And I've kind of wondered if I should document all that. So here I am, giving that an attempt. And also, the extra challenge is gonna make this video at least somewhat interesting to watch. Because let's face it, probably 99% of all the Unity tutorials, what I have seen and what I have kind of low-key forced to watch while learning Unity, are very boring and uninteresting. Something that I'd rather pull my own eyes out than watch a single second of those videos. So I'm trying not to make this boring, and also I'm trying to decide how much to include to each video. That's gonna be very interesting. So now that I've rambled you to complete boredom, let's see, where should I start? Honestly, I was just thinking that I wanna build some FPS controls. And start with that. Go from there. I don't have literally anything here going on right now. I need something. Before even writing a script, I think I need an empty object. I'm gonna call this a layer. And inside that, I'm gonna create, where the fuck is it? 3D cube. And I'm gonna call this top half. Go in there. Thank you. And I'm also gonna create another cube called bottom half. Position should be completely 0. The reason for 2 halves is that because I want to make this character crouch, but I don't know how else to do that other than just having 2 halves and the top halves just kind of slides down on top of the bottom half, and like that, and that's how the crouching happens. So I need to adjust the height of this. Hold on. If average male height is probably something like 1.7, so 1.7 divided in 2 is 0.85. So that means this is gonna be 0.85. Same here, 0.85. Then I need to adjust the scale. Let's put it to 0.4, I don't know. To put it in place, I'm gonna zero out the top, and I'm just gonna move it up 0.85. And for smooth movement, I can't use box collider because the flat sides of the box are gonna be a problem, especially when I run against the wall and the friction is gonna come in and it's just gonna come to a complete stop. So I'm gonna get rid of the box collider and I am gonna add capsule collider. It should be correct automatically. Honestly, it really doesn't fucking matter what these meshes are because they're gonna be hidden. Once the game starts, you can't see them. So they can look like your mom for all I care. I need camera. And camera needs to be the child of the top half. Camera. Clipping plane near, let's put it to 0.1. The camera needs to sit pretty much right on top of the... right there. What else do I need before I can start scripting? I think I need to make the player a prefab. Let's create a new folder, prefabs. And here I'm gonna make a new folder called player. I'm gonna put the player down there. Obviously this shit needs a floor. Let's just name it floor, whatever. Floor. Great English. Floor. Scale it a bunch. Scale the bunch. Scale the bunch. Doesn't have to be that much, I don't think. 100, why not? This is burning my eyes, this is so fucking white. Can I make the light a bit pleasant for my eyes? Just turn it like this for now. The player needs physics, rigid body, and that's that. Although, it probably needs constraints. Rotations for X and Z, because otherwise it's gonna flip to the side like this. So now I think I'm ready to do some scripting. Let's create a new folder called player control, and there we're gonna create a new script called player movement Sure, let's go with that. I'm just gonna add the player movement straight away into the prefab. Like that. What do I need in the player movement? We need inputs to be able to move. Input forward. Oh, I even remember how to do this. Input forward, key code, W. Was it like this? No. I think it was like that. This is why this is not a teaching video, because I don't even know how to do it myself. Key code backwards, key code left, and key code right, key code D. We're making progress. These key codes should probably be public. And the reason why they are public, because if I want to create settings somewhere down later where I'm able to change the keys, I can have access to these key codes. So this is probably where the professionalism actually ends and my way of doing it starts. The way I do this is I add the private bool move forward, and it's false. And it's the same for all of those key presses. And then I should try and do something. Void update. If input get key down forward. This text prediction system is way too good. I don't have to write a shit down here. I'm gonna do the same to every key press before I go to those if statements. Then I have to do some extra shit here because I won't be able to strafe. Let's try it like this. If input get key down left. I think I should add move forward is true key up. At this point, I'm gonna actually try to add a bit of movement to it already. Move forward is true. I need to get the player rigid body. Private rigid body. Player RB. And I'm gonna add void start. Player RB get component rigid body. Here I actually ask if player RB something else than null, so it exists. We have it. Then you should try and move it. Player RB move position. Player RB transform the position, gets the rigid body position, and then we add player RB from forward to it. No, because this is yes, because this is forward. Yes, it's plus time dot fixed delta time. No. It's not plus, it's times. And then we need movement speed. Let's make it a public so we can change it easily. Public float. Move and speed. Put it 5 for now. That times movement speed. Can I move it already? Let's see. I think it's moving. Hold on. You need to release the key as well. I think I'm gonna also add just a couple extra objects for better visual points, so I can actually see if I'm moving or not. Put a sphere there. Let's make a new folder for materials. Here we make a folder for colors, and here we add a new material. Let's call it red. Why not? And I'm gonna change it to red. Put it on that. Put a bunch of these around the area. Let's see if it's any better. It keeps moving, but it doesn't stop. But maybe I need to say get key instead of get key down. Yeah, that's it. So my player moves forward now. Great. It needs to be get key. Get key. Get key. Get key. Move backward, move left, move right. And then I just have to add the movement to all the directions. Copy that. That's a minus. Left. That's transform right. Also minus. Right. That's a plus. Let's see how we do. Backwards doesn't work. Backwards is B. Why is B? It has been S. Again, another test. Why is it still... I need to change it here as well. Again. Test it one more time. This time it works. Hell yeah. Alright, that's a very bare bone basic FPS movement right there. We are gonna make a game in no time. So next I wanna add the strafing. So that's where I'm actually wondering if this sort of mess right here works. So I probably need to say move forward is true and move left is true. Copy that, add it there, and then I need to add it another time. This time it's gonna be minus right. Let's see what it says if it's like that. No Borky yet. Probably has to be like this then. It says absolutely nothing. Hold on. Move back a little bit. I'm gonna change these booleans to public so I can see what they're doing. Okay, so move forward and move left, turn on together. Then it's a problem down here. Probably has to be like this. Transform forward minus player RB. Transform right. Ooh! It is strafing now. Hell yeah. Movement speed times 0.75. Now it feels like it's a bit more correct. Now I just have to do it to rest of the shit. Else if get key right rise true get key right. And then I think I can just copy that down here. Hold on. Am I actually making this a lot more complicated than it needs to be? Let's see. I'm gonna clean this up. And I wanna see what the script does again. Yeah! I was doing all that shit for no reason. I just need input key get forward, true and false, and backward true, false, left, true, false, and right, true and false. And down here I just need to ask accordingly. If these two are pressed, then it's strafing left. If these two are pressed, then it's strafing to the right. Backward left is minus. Does it have to be minus and plus? Just copy that. Minus that. And that is directional movement. What are the other things that FPS control needs? Let's put running next. I can make these booleans private again. Put another keycode public, the keycode run, that's it. And then it needs a running multiplier, multiple, let's put it to 2 for now. Then it needs a private float which is running speed. And then it needs also a private bool to check that we are running. Running speed is movement speed times running multiplier. Also it needs old movement speed. And old movement speed is just speed, right? I actually don't think we need the running bool. We need if movement speed is running speed. If input get key up, movement speed is old movement speed. Let's check how it works. We are running very effectively. That is noise.
Nice.
So let's put crouch down next. Public key code. Crouch. Let's put the key code C for now. We need to add a couple private vectors. First one is a standing height. The second one is a crouching height. I have to get those top half and bottom halves first. This is probably the easiest way to do it like this. Public game object, top half, bottom half. At the start, I'm gonna check if top half is something else than null, and the bottom half also something else than null. We take ignore. Nope. Physics. Ignore collision. Top half, bottom half. I guess it's also the same to just put colliders up here instead of game objects. So when the crouching happens and those halves intersect, they're not gonna glitch. Why is it higged? Height. So standing height is top half, transform local position. Crouching height is standing height X, Standing height. Why? Let's put some sort of float around here. Crouch amount. Let's put it to 50 for now. It's a public value, so I can change the height amount later if I want. Crouch amount. Then standing height. Let's try some bare bones crouching first. So when I press crouch, top half game object transform local position is new vector. It does have to be crouching height. I have to put another boolean down here to check that I'm actually crouching. Private bool crouching false. And here I say if crouching is false, then it's gonna drop down the crouching height, and then it's also gonna turn crouching to true. If crouching is true, then top half is standing height, and crouching is false. Are we crouching already? Nope, we are not crouching, because I forgot to put the motherfucking top half and the bottom half in place. Let's try again. Still nothing is happening. I wonder why. I just realized the fucking crouch amount is wrong amount. It needs to be 0.5, not fucking 50. What the fuck? Does it actually have to be new vector? Let's move that for now. With that log, I'm checking if it's going to that if statement at all. It is, but nothing is happening. Does the physics ignore has to be continuous? I have to remove it from the start and put it to the update. I want to check if the collider is actually the problem. Now it's gonna fall fucking to the floor. It looks like it actually has to be a new vector. Okay. I'm glad that I figured that out. Do we finally have a bare bones crouching? No, not quite. Now we have a bare bones crouching. Hell yeah. Also, I removed the ignore physics because it doesn't look like it's needed. I'm gonna have to add it back if it actually looks like it's needed. So next, to animate it, make it smoother. I know I need a crouching speed. I think it needs slurp, but I don't know if I remember how to do it. It needs a starting point and ending point and float T, which I think is the speed. Local position, crouching height, crouching speed. And then I say if top half game object transform local position is the same as crouching height, then crouching is true. I probably need one more boolean here to say that we are crouching down. Maybe not. Let's try without it first. I'm a bit confused at this point. How do I actually have to do this? What is it that I'm not getting? I'm probably making this way more complicated for myself than it needs to be. My brains are melting out of my ears trying to figure out this stuff. I'm trying to follow the Unity example here. Which distance covered is time, start time, crouch speed, crouch fraction, crouch distance covered, crouching height, top half, transform local position is vector 3, larp, standing height, crouching height, crouch fraction. Is that now it? It is not. I bet crouching start time is 0, and it's gonna be over there. This is so much more difficult than I thought. Still no. Maybe it's a matter of crouching speed. Let's put it to 0.1. Okay, it's the matter of crouching speed. Slightly faster. Nope, okay. Never mind. It is still not the crouch what I'm looking for. Okay, there is the smoothness that I'm looking for. I want it faster. That looks good enough for starters. My brains are melting. I didn't know crouching would be this difficult to do. Holy shit. Else if crouching is true. I want to try if I can make the crouching so that I can press the crouch repeatedly and it'll switch the directions from the current crouching positions to the opposite direction. Public vector 3 current crouch height. Current crouch height is whatever the top half transform local position is at the moment. And then I don't go from standing height, but I go from current crouch height. Copy that. Crouching is false. No, what am I doing? I'm getting more confused by the minute. But actually, they are using the same exact values, so... No, but no. I am getting even more confused. It needs to be different, because it goes to the crouching height, but then it needs to go to the standing height. What is simply crazy to me that there is already 178 lines of code, and this script barely does anything. It works very well, although that when the game starts, that is not supposed to happen. So for that, I think I need to add one more boolean for the crouch and say is crouching. Crouching. Also, put that thing into the if statement. Is crouching. Is true. Then do whatever the shit is right here. And here I just have to say that is crouching is true. And if I wanna be real fancy about it, I could also put if top half local position is the same as crouching height, then is crouching false. Although it probably wouldn't matter that much. It's just for the beginning of the game, so that that weird jerking motion doesn't happen. Why not couple lines of extra code? It won't matter. Let's see how she do. Do I want to add crouch movement speed? Does it matter that much? I guess I could add crouch movement speed. Crouch movement speed. I'm gonna make it private. I don't think it needs to be changeable. Crouch movement speed. Crouch movement speed is movement speed times let's put 0.75. Although I could make crouch speed multiplier, so I can change the crouch speed like that. And if I want to be real fancy about it, I could also lerp the movement speed so that it slows down and speeds up as I crouch down and stand up. So how do I do that? Movement speed is math lerp. Float A to float B. Yep. From movement speed, crouch, movement speed, crouch, fraction. I think it's working. I'm gonna exaggerate it more, so I can see the effect a bit better. I think it works. What about if I run? It cancels the running, okay. How do I deal with that though? One more float. It says current movement speed. Current movement speed is movement speed. Probably again from current. But no, from crouch movement speed. Current movement speed. That's not quite right. Okay, so it almost works. You can walk normally, you can run normally, and crouch, and it slows down. I can't run while crouching. So I wanna add this thing that if I'm crouching and I'm then pressing run button, I wanna be able to come back to running speed if I stop crouching. I think I have to add one more boolean down here to check that I'm running. Is running true. And I think this has to be in the if statement. If crouching is false. Running is false. Here it's running is true. If crouching is false. Current movement speed movement speed is from current movement speed to crouched movement speed. If he's running is false, then it goes from crouching movement speed to old movement speed. If it's running is true, then it goes from crouching movement speed to running speed. Hell yeah. Now it seems like it's working. Let's add camera rotation next. Then I need camera speed. Actually no. I need camera multiplier. And then I need private float camera speed. Camera speed is input get axis. Let's try with x axis first. Mouse x times camera multiplier. Camera rotation y. Layer camera. Transform Euler angles. New vector 3. X dot y. What the fuck am I doing? This is camera speed x. Camera rotation y is not needed. Camera speed x. That's plus camera speed x and z. Let's see what it says. It says nothing once again because I forgot to assign the fucking camera. It's fine, but it's doing wrong rotations. It has to be mouse y, camera speed y, camera speed y, and it has to do the x-axis. Just keep on trying until it goes. Well, at least it works. Probably should put it to full screen. It is working just fine. Except I need to flip the axis. Needs to be minus camera speed y. I also want to put an angle limit so it doesn't flip his head like over his neck like that. And that's a camera vertical angle limit. And that's gonna be 70-ish degrees. If player camera transform Euler angles x smaller than minus camera vertical angle limit, probably easier to put another float down here saying camera rotation x. Here I say camera rotation x. My brain is not raining today. I am getting a bit tired with this shit, but I'm just keep pushing through it, even though I shouldn't. Camera rotation x is minus camera vertical angle limit, and if it's more than the camera vertical limit, then it's camera vertical limit else. Put that into the else. That is gonna be camera rotation x, and that is gonna be camera rotation x plus camera speed y. Camera rotation x, camera rotation x. Apparently I'm changing everything at this point, and that is camera rotation x. And bada bim bada boom, does it work? That's the magical question that I've probably been asking in this video multiple times. It does very well. I still have to flip the fucking direction. That is a very nice camera movement. Now I just need to do the horizontal movement. Player rotation y. Player rotation y is transform Euler angles y. Camera speed x. Input get axis mouse x. Player rotation y plus camera speed x. And that does not have any limits, so I don't have to do that shit at all. Transform that Euler angles new vector 3. Transform Euler angles x. Player rotation y. Transform Euler angles z. Do we have a full camera rotation now in our hands? Yes, we do. Very much indeed. That is almost fully complete FPS control. Very basic. I cannot jump yet. I will add jump. And I think that is then all that there is to it. So what does jump need? I'm gonna also put one more thing before I go to jump. I'm gonna put public key code lock mouse. Let's put it to Q for now. Lock mouse. Just like that. No, it's not. Like that. Aha. Visible false. Yes. House locked. False if house locked is false. It's always, every time I add any little thing, I have to test it. I just want to see if it works. Yep, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, so jump. Public key code. Jump space. This is jumping. If get key down. Jump. He's jumping. I don't think it's quite like that though. There has to be another. So it says do jump here, and then here it says if do jump is true, then do jump is false. False is jumping is true. And here I probably have to say if is jumping is false and do jump is false. So these both are because I need to press jump once. And I have to add force upwards exactly once. While I'm flying in the air, jumping, I cannot press jump, or I can press the jump key, but nothing happens until I come back down and touch ground. Otherwise, it will just keep on jumping forever. So here, I need to say player RB. Add force. The player RB is transform up. I need to add some jump force. Jump force. Start with 100. Or is it times jump force? It is! Let's see if this first part works correctly, so that I can jump exactly once. Yep. I need to add... Oh, this is at least the way I do it. I add a tiny trigger the bottom of this player prefab 3D cube. Let's call it landing trigger, why not? Scale it down. Doesn't need mesh render. Is a trigger, probably like here. I like even numbers, so let's like that. I need to add another script. Landing trigger. It goes straight on the trigger. Here I say on trigger enter. On trigger stay might be a bit better. If other name is something else than player. So it doesn't check on this player object. Component player movement public component. And say if player movement is null. Player movement. That has to be public bool because of that. And probably also do jump has to be public bool because of that. So I press jump, it says do jump. And then when do jump is true, it adds force to this up direction exactly once, jumps it up, and then it puts false. That's just to prevent it from adding the force multiple times. Then it also says is jumping true, meaning that we are now airborne. And from there it has to wait until the player comes back down this trigger. And then here it says player movement has to be like that. Player movement is jumping false and player movement do jump false. Also, I could make it double sure and say on exit is jumping false. So now if everything works as it should, I should have jump in my hand. Okay, now what is wrong? The landing trigger needs the player movement script. I always forget to add these motherfucking components to the slots. There it is. The jump is very minimal, but put some more oomph to it. I think this feels alright for now. So I think this is enough for one video. This took me fucking 4 hours to bring it to this point. From here I can try to add something else. But whatever it is, I'm gonna do it next time. And I'm gonna end this video here.